I've made a lot of Hogwarts Legacy videos, but never one quite like this. Guys, we have so much to talk about here, but I'm not going to bury the lead. I'll just cut right to the chase. I've been contacted by multiple people with behind-the-scenes gameplay details regarding Hogwarts Legacy. First, take all of this with a grain of salt. I'm going to explain why in this video that I think the information is legit. For those of you who have followed the channel for a while, you know how skeptical I always am when rumors and leaks like this pop up. I don't even cover all of them simply because there are so many. For the new folks, I'm not a leaker. As I say in many of my videos, I'm just a dad who loves games and the stories they tell. In this case, I'm just a Hogwarts Legacy fan making videos on the internet and reporting on something I've been told. 1. I've been told the developers were heavily inspired by the level design of Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 2. I'm hearing that enemy camps will be a core part of gameplay with combat, stealth, and exploration all playing a role. 3. The game will also include dungeons in addition to the enemy camps, and there was an entire team dedicated to designing these. 4. There are multiple regions included in the open world. 5. Relationships are in the game and have storylines designed to emotionally engage players. 6. Multiple towns are included and feature NPCs with unique behaviors and conversations to feel like a living, breathing town. And 7. Day and night cycles are in the game, and because I know you're wondering, no, there was not a mention of seasons, but that doesn't mean they aren't in the game. Okay, wow, boy, do we have a lot to talk about. To be totally honest, this isn't the first time I've been contacted regarding supposed behind-the-scenes details. Usually, it's pretty easy to tell that it's completely fake, just someone looking for attention or trying to trick me into making a video on something fake. Who knows? I don't know why they do it. Why is this one different? First of all, some of the things I just listed were sent to me by 2 different people, basically within 2 days of one another. Also, one of them actually included photo evidence, which unfortunately I can't share here, but I do believe that these photos are legitimate, and I believe this source does have information on the game, or sources, I should say. Now, 2 additional things here. I personally believe this information that I've shared is accurate. Secondly, though, I also believe any of it could change at any point in game development. For those of you who follow games, you know there are sometimes things that get cut that many people have worked on for months and months and months. At the same time, though, I also have to say several of those points I listed are more high-level game design ideas, so for them to be cut, it would be pretty surprising. So, those are all of the caveats. Now, let's actually talk about the information I just shared and what it could mean, because whoa boy, almost everything there gets me super excited. So first, design inspiration from Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Are you kidding me? Music to my ears. Sign me up. As well as the bit about enemy camps. I mean, those 3 games right there, I think of those games so highly. I know people didn't love The Last of Us Part 2 story, but remember, we're talking about level design here, and the gameplay in The Last of Us Part 2 was incredible. Then Zelda Breath of the Wild, just how open that world was and how you could just go anywhere and do anything you wanted to do and tackle the different camps in so many different ways. Same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. That game was just lauded and lauded with praise for how they handled the open world. If Hogwarts Legacy comes even close, you guys, to touching what these games did on that level, then this game is going to be insane. I also think those 2 points right there really paint a picture in my head for a much bigger game than what I had been imagining. I don't know, maybe it's just a case of me trying to keep my expectations in check, but when they said open world, I don't know that I ever really took them truly at their word. In open world, I was thinking, okay, we're just gonna have a super wide open Hogwarts with all sorts of stuff to do in the castle, and then we'll have these kind of smaller areas that we can sort of dip out to from time to time, but it's not gonna be this sprawling landscape. Now though, I'm starting to think, guys, is the dream a reality? Is what we have been hoping for all along actually going to happen? I mean, look at this wallpaper for Breath of the Wild and then compare it to this Hogwarts Legacy shot here. It's the same one I used in the thumbnail of this video. How have we missed this, guys? This is like such a clear parallel right here. I mean, it's like they were trying to tell us all along, look, here's the game that we're looking to inspire us. Those covers right there, I mean, I guess we don't really know if it's the Hogwarts Legacy cover just yet, but let's just say it is. If those are the 2 covers right there, I mean, look at the similarities. Is that what they were trying to get at all along? Then the next bit about dungeons. Like, are you kidding me? This part was a little bit more vague. It wasn't as clear as the enemy encampments that we talked about. But if it's what I'm thinking, I'm thinking a Zelda-style dungeon. Like, you have this area where you sort of make your way through a series of smaller areas, and then you come to a large area that's going to require you to, who knows, solve some sort of puzzle, encounter some enemies, maybe learn a new spell. To be clear, that's just me sort of guessing and spitballing right there. But I want to be clear, there was a whole separate design team, again, from what I've been told, a separate design team that was specifically devoted to dungeons. Same thing for the enemy camps. So it's clear there are two separate things there. At least to me, it seems that way. And just the way I kind of imagine it in my head is that these enemy camps are things that we're going to encounter across the open world. And then the dungeons would actually be something larger than just sort of these random hotspots on the map. All right, the next point, multiple regions in the open world. So what's interesting about this one is I can't put an exact number on it, but I know that it is at least 3, most likely more in terms of regions. But again, this just goes back to sort of my expectation being much smaller than what it sounds like the game is actually working toward here. I mean, multiple regions? Like, where all are we going to be able to go in this game, you guys? Let's just stop and think here. They've already confirmed Hogwarts, of course. That's the big one. They've already confirmed Hogsmeade. They've confirmed the Forbidden Forest. We do see Azkaban in the trailer. My mind is just running like crazy now. Are we going to go to Godric's Hollow? Are we going to go to the Ministry of Magic? Are we going to go to some sort of special Quidditch stadium? I mean, I know, help me rein it in, guys. Next, the bit about relationships and storylines. This is also something that makes total sense with what Avalanche has told us from the beginning, particularly the bit about choosing companions. That much is confirmed already by Avalanche. We know that we will be able to choose companions throughout the game. But this to me actually hints at the possibility of there being separate storylines depending on which companions we choose, which is something I have definitely wanted in the game. We've talked about it here on the channel before. Then another one that speaks to the size and scope, this idea of multiple towns. That is specifically the word that was used here. Towns, plural, along with NPCs who have unique behaviors and conversations. So that last bit isn't too surprising considering most open world games have really been making an effort to improve this aspect of having different areas feel unique and different. But again, I'm just so taken aback by this scope here. I mean, multiple towns other than Hogsmeade. Like, where all are we going to be traveling in this game, you guys? This just sounds so incredibly insane, and I mean that in the best way possible. Think about all the different possibilities for fast travel now. We see hippogriffs flying in the trailer. I mean, that very well could be a shot of us flying to a completely different region, a completely different town. And then we have the piece about day and night cycles. I personally think seasons will be in the game too, even though this wasn't part of anything I heard. And I also don't think day-night cycles is too big of a surprise. It's certainly something people have wanted though. In the old Harry Potter games, they had it where you actually had to advance to the next day, but this sounds like it will be more like that Zelda Ocarina of Time, Zelda Breath of the Wild style, where things are always kind of changing around you. As I said in the beginning, guys, take it with a grain of salt. If you haven't already seen, we did find out that there is going to be an official Hogwarts Legacy art book possibly launching in September. Check out that video on the right side of your screen right now. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.